What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lone Wolf 902. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another titanium wood stove from my friends over at Pomoly. This is a very special stove because it's a limited edition stove. So if you're interested in picking this up, I would recommend grabbing it quick because I do not know how long it's going to be around for. Being a special edition, I chose to do an unboxing showing you guys the packaging and what comes with the stove. So let's get right into it. Okay, so right away I have to say that the packaging is very nice. Nice professional clean look to it. Just a plain box, logo on the front, Pomoly. So let's open it up. And it is raining today, so I'm gonna have to work a little quick. I'm hiding underneath the trees right now, so hopefully we don't get poured on. Let's open it up. So what we've got here on the very top, a branded carry bag. Let's open this up out of the package, see what we got here. Now this bag is kind of like a waxed, reusable, kind of renewed paper material. It is very durable, and talk about this for a second here. Let me just open it up. Most people, when they see these, they think it's just paper. The inside is actually material, and it does offer quite a bit of protection. This paper is very durable. I've had many of these get wet outdoors. It doesn't fall apart. It actually lasts quite a long time. So very green option of going with packaging where it is paper. Very environmentally friendly. So that's the bag that it comes with. We'll set that off to the side. Inside of the box, we've got some protective foam. There's a lot of foam in this, I gotta say. So very protected stove. So here we have a stainless steel poker. This is not titanium. It does weigh quite a bit, so if you're not into backpacking with the poker, I would leave this home. But it does make an excellent tool for truck camping or car camping. Very useful, so it does come with that. Here we have the manifold / damper piece. Very nice operation. Excellent, looks great too. We also have a spark arrestor. So this stove does come with the spark arrestor included in the stove, with the Pomoly logo etched on the top there. So very nice spark arrestor. And it does have the 3 holes, so you can connect guy lines while you guy out your pipe. If it is windy, you can set it up top and run guy lines down to prevent it from moving too much in the wind. That's included. We also have the stove pipe, which is right here. This is a 3-meter pipe that it comes with. So it is almost 10 foot. Packed inside of the pipe, there are 2 gloves, size large. These are anti-cut gloves, so you can assemble the pipe without cutting your hands. Very useful. Talking about the pipe, like I said, it is a 3-meter pipe, almost 10 feet long. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rings included in it. For the purpose of today's video, I'm not going to be using this. I'm going to be using a 2-meter pipe that is already pre-burned and pre-rolled. So I may show how to form this, to basically form it for your first burn in a future video. These 3-meter pipes can be a little tricky. I recommend using 2 pool noodles, those foam pool noodles that children use in the swimming pools. Use 2 of those, tape together for a form, and then get 2 people, roll it, and slide the rings on. Be very patient and be very slow while you're doing it, and you'll end up with a beautiful pipe, no kinks. So it does come with a 3-meter pipe. And then coming into the stove, let's just get this right out of the box. Get this pulled out. And so on the inside of the box, you can see that there are compartments that are all foamed and basically it's bubble wrap pretty much. I mean, this thing coming to wherever you purchase it from, wherever it's got to get shipped, there should be absolutely no damage. This thing is a bomb-proof box. So very happy with the packaging. Let's get this off to the side and let's look at the stove. So we do have 2 Velcro compression straps. Open these up. And these are very handy too, from going into camp and out of camp, to keep everything tight and organized. So we've got some more foam packaging underneath, protecting that glass window on the front. Just going to toss all this off to the side. So looking at the lid of the stove, we have Pomoly etched on the top. Underneath we do have the 3 ribs reinforcements to stop that from warping. Very useful. And then we've got 2 screws on top. Now there are other versions of this. You may end up with 3 screws. The 2 screws work perfectly fine. They added the 3rd for reinforcement. It's really not needed though. So there will be 2 versions. If you do get one with 2 screws, 3 screws, it's perfectly fine. It's meant to be that way. set that off to the side, and then we'll look at the stove body itself. So being a T1 version, so this is a T1 stove that they've added the Woods Night Edition kind of tree logo on the side. So it has the same operation as the T1 stove. We'll get some of this packaging out of the way again and basically show you guys what we got going on for the wood scene. Okay, so looking at the side wall of the stove here, you can see I've already assembled one side. You can see the Woods Night theme. I'm going to open up this side here, and now you can actually see the Woods Night themed kind of wood scene there. So what they did is they added a piece of titanium that was cut to form the trees, basically the Woods Night scene. Now you can unfold this. You can undo these bolts and remove the glass and remove that titanium wood scene if you do not like it, okay? So if you do have this stove and you're thinking, geez, I wish that wasn't there, you can remove it. So this stove, essentially, it is a T1 stove. It just has the addition of the Woods Night scene on there, being a special edition. So if you're thinking, geez, I kind of want a T1, but I also want this, it's two stoves in one. So you can remove that and just have open glass and have the 3 windows on a T1 stove, which is pretty awesome. So the same assembly as the T1, we just work these little thumb latches there, get that done up, and then we have legs. So of course we'll open up the bottom legs, and these are proper legs, nice legs on the Pomoly stoves. If I can get that open. There we have the stove. Now we've got the top lid. I've already assembled the manifold, just the 2 little screws, drops right on there very easily. Drop the lid on there, secure it with these thumb latches again. Very, very simple construction. That's what I love about the T1 stove. It's so easy to get put together very, very quickly. So there we have the T1 Woods Edition Limited stove. Now let's talk about some of the details. So on the bottom of the stove, you will notice right by my hands here, there are 3 reinforced ribs of titanium. That is also on the underside of the lid. So this stove is incredible at dealing with warpage. It does not want to warp with those reinforced ribs. The hardware on this stove, they've switched to steel. So the hardware manipulates very, very easily. So if you do need to loosen or tighten the screws up, you can do that very easily. They did add the tabs right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the sides of the T1, because if you have the additional racks, these titanium racks like I do, you can fit them to this stove. So if you did already purchase a T1 stove and you're looking at the side racks, these are an excellent accessory to have. Now I'm on an uneven picnic table right now, so hopefully this will go together well. Not the greatest table. So as you can see, get that pressed in there all the way. That would help. There. So now we have the side rack assembled, and when you purchase these side racks, they come in a set of 2, of course, so you can put one rack on one side, the other rack on the other side. So these do just slip into the hole. They're not threaded. They just slip right in. Being on an uneven picnic table though, like I'm saying, you can see that it doesn't really want to play ball with me. But it does function very, very well. I use these quite often actually on my T1 stove, and I find that it adds real estate to the stove. It really does, because then you can put your cooking utensils and all your stuff on top of that. I've done garlic bread on top of the rack. I've done bagels, I've warmed up bagels, all kinds of great stuff. So this is an excellent accessory if you're looking at adding to your T1 stove or your Woods Night Edition stove. So the legs are basically the same. They do have the drilled holes in there at the bottom if you want to add tent pegs to secure the stove. The stove is constructed out of 1 millimeter of titanium, so it is a beast of a stove, and it is made to last. All right, so I got the stove loaded full of wood, and for the wood source, if you guys are new to the channel, what I like to do when I burn my stoves in is I also like to do an added stress test. So I'm going to be using kiln-dried 2x4s, softwood, and get this stove rocking very, very, very hot right away, just to see how much is it going to warp. So I've got it jam-packed full of birch bark, which is a no-no. I don't like burning birch bark in my stoves for 2 reasons. One, it blackens the glass horribly. Although it's very, very easy to clean, very simple, it blackens the glass. It gets the temperature of the stove very, very, very hot, which is why I'm going to do it. And it's just horrible stuff to put in your stove. So I do have it jammed full of birch bark and a whole bunch of soft 2x4 softwood 2x4s. So let's get this thing burning. Let's see what happens. So I'm very interested to see. Like I said, that the glass will blacken from the birch bark, from the oils and whatnot, but I'm interested to see what that scene on the side looks like. So let's get this burning right away and let's have a look. So I will mention that I do have the front vent all the way open and I have the rear damper all the way open for this demonstration. This is going to be fun. Alright, so as predicted, the side glass and the front glass has blackened from all of that birch bark. Like I said, doing this on purpose to get that stove really hot really quickly to see what happens. Typically, I would not burn birch bark in the stove, or if I do, it's very, very small amount of birch bark. This was jam-packed full of it. So that will clean off very, very simple, very easily. I could actually reach inside of there right now, but I'm not going to. And with a glove, you can actually wipe that off. So I might even be able to show. Yeah, so it is wiping off the front glass actually very easily. I just put a big smudge in it. So once this gets burning cleaner and we get it damped down to a spot where it's a nice steady flame, that blackened stuff will actually self-clean itself. It'll burn off inside as you get a steady, nice, hot coal base in there. So we're going to leave it alone for a little bit, and while that's burning, also talk about a personal gift that Pomoly sent to me, which I've been waiting for a very long time. So thank you very much, Pomoly, for sending this. Can you guys guess what it is? It's titanium. It is a brand new kettle. So I now have my titanium tea kettle, which is going to be excellent, and I requested it with no branding on the side of it. No branding, just a plain, clean titanium kettle that I now have for my stove. So pretty awesome combo. Nice kettle, nice stove. It's going to be a really, really fun winter this winter. And let's get some larger pieces of wood inside of there. Whew. That's hot. That is hot. So the other byproduct of burning the softwood is, this is not as bad as burning the softwood outdoors because it is kiln dried, but there are resins and sap in the wood that will also blacken the window. So this is like the worst condition possible to be burning the stove with all the birch bark, with the softwood. But you will notice that, I could probably show you on the side glass here, if I take this piece of wood and I just gently scrape that side of the window, it actually comes right off, no problem. So I've shown this in many, many videos. After the stove gets burning properly, it does clean off very, very easy. And that is the reason why I burn hardwood and not softwood. So now that we've got that loaded again, we'll close that vent up. And the kettle should be warm very, very soon. I can see that the top of the stove is already turning blue and purple like titanium does. Very, very nice colors. And I did not clean this stove before burning, so all the oils from the fingerprints are still on the stove. I did that on purpose because I want to see how much actually forms, and then I want to experiment with different methods of removing those fingerprints. I have been told that a rubber eraser to a pencil will actually remove them. I'm going to test that out and see if it works. But this is working very, very well so far. I don't see any warping in the stove. And like I said, this is going to get cranking, it's going to get hot, and we're going to see what happens. Now, it being a variant of a T1 stove, I don't suspect there's going to be any warpage. I really don't. I think it's going to be extremely minimal. The stove looks like it is just built very, very, very well. So we're going to wait and see. I'm going to continue loading wood. I'm going to make my s'mores hot chocolate and get this thing cranking hot, and then we're going to come back and have a look at it near the end. Okay guys, so it's been about 2 hours now. I've been burning in the stove and it worked really well. Now, I will say I did not clean the glass in any way. This is exactly how it burned off. So if you can see my hand behind there, it did burn 98%. I'd say 98 to 99% of the blackened stuff. I mean, there's a little bit right here on my finger, and a tiny bit again on the other side right here. Everything else burned off really nicely. The front is almost completely clear, and that's what happens when you let your stoves just burn. The heat will burn all that stuff off. So as far as warping, I pounded this thing with heat and I only got a tiny bit, which is very typical. Okay, very minimal. The same thing on the T1 stove. Not worried about that at all. Once you put the stove back together, it comes back 100% square. I've mentioned this many times in previous videos. Any stove on the market is going to warp. This being 1mm, the warpage is significantly less than what the other stoves will do. So other competitor stoves are down to like 0.4 mil. I've seen some down to like 0.2 mil. Basically the stovepipe material is what the stove body's made out of on some of those competitors, and they warp absolutely terrible. So the 1mm titanium, especially with these reinforced baffles, very good. I'm real happy with that. The graphics, like I mentioned before, you can take the graphics out of here. So if you just want an open window and you did purchase the limited edition model, the Woods Knight, you can remove that graphics panel. So if you do want to remove it, you can. Now this, I don't have the pipe here with me. I believe I took it inside of my house, but the pipe is a 3 m, so almost 10-foot section. That is added with the spark arrestor. So you're getting the spark arrestor and the pipe with the purchase of this and the added graphics. Now, that 3 m pipe you can cut with a pair of scissors. So if you do need to downsize it to 6 foot or 7 foot, whatever, you can actually cut it with scissors, and then you can use the leftover titanium for whatever you want. You can make a little wind block out of it for your canister stove. You can make a little shroud for the back of the stove if you have a large enough piece. Whatever you want to do with it, it's completely up to you. So the stove itself, it's a T1 stove. I do have the T1 and the T1 Mini. I'm going to put the link to those stoves down in the description if you're looking at more specs, because I'm not going to cover a lot of specs in this video on the stove. I already have the T1. I've got a video on the T1. The difference is the Woods Knight graphics, making it limited edition, and they did add the little knurled knob up here, which is very nice. I like that. The damper is upgraded without those locking fins, so you don't have to push down and turn anymore. You just drop it in there, put the 2 screws in, done. So there are some tiny differences, but nothing that's going to affect the performance of the stove. It essentially is a T1 stove. So I hope I covered everything. The weight will be down in the description. I literally just got a message from Pomoly while I was filming. He said, hold on a second, I want to grab the weight. So I will put the weight down in the description so you guys can have that as well. So I'm going to pack the stove up, and I'm going to actually undo it right now on camera so we can see. That was simple. So we can see how easy it'll pack after being burned. That one tightened up a little bit. That one's nice. Wow. So that's after burning. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Get this all folded up. The lid back on there. So there you have the T1 Limited Woods Knight Edition stove. Like I said, it is basically a T1 stove. Not a whole lot to cover. Just wanted to show it. It is a limited edition offer as of right now. They may come out with different graphics for different promotions maybe in the future. I'm not totally sure. But this is the Woods Knight Limited Edition. It comes with the gloves, it comes with the hook, it comes with your pipe. It comes with everything you need. Everything you need to burn and get outdoors and have fun, you got it. So, if you guys have any questions about this stove or any of the other Pomoly stoves, I do have full-length reviews on those other stoves. Drop it down in the comment section and I'll be sure to get back to you. Right now, I'm going to get this bundled up. I want to get inside, get the video done, and get it out to you guys. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.